Hi friends, Mindy here. I'm going to be doing an unboxing of my newest subscription kit from A House of Books. This is like a vintage paper goods and ephemera kind of subscription. And I tried filming this kind of in real time, and the video was just really, really long because there's so much stuff in here. So I went ahead and I just sped up the video a little bit, just to try to keep it interesting as well. And so I'm just going to do a voiceover. So sorry if that is strange. It just seemed like the best way to do it after the fact. So anyway, this is the large subscription, and it comes in a fabric, like a handmade pouch, and with all of these beautiful goodies in it. I'm probably use this pouch at some point to make a journal or two out of, because the fabric is really beautiful. So as you can see, this is the large one, like I said, and it's big. So there's over 200 pieces. I'm going to go ahead and pull out some things as I go. I got this little steno book, and that's going to be great to, make some journals out of. I think I had asked for some like ledger paper, and I think maybe that was one of the reasons that was in there. But another thing that all of the kits get is a package of fabric, like fabric scraps. And then based on the size of your subscription kit is kind of how much scraps you get. Admittedly, there are some in here that I just will never use, but some of them are okay. I'm just going to kind of flip through here really quickly. There's some that are, I think, definitely vintage, and then there's some that I'm not sure how vintage they are, but they'll make good little journal covers or whatever. So I'm just going to go through, and how much you get, and the scraps are all different and everything. So, it's hard to say you wouldn't get exactly this in your subscription. And again, there's 3 different sizes. There's the small, medium, and large. I did the small last month, and I've done the large this month. And you can also sign up to commit for 3 months or 6 months or whatever, and that changes some of the pricing a little bit. You get a little bit of a discount if you make a commitment. So I'm just doing mine month to month, so that I can try out which one I like the most. So you also get a little bag here. This has got some postage stamps in them. These are, I wouldn't necessarily say they're vintage postage stamps, because some of them are like the forever stamps, but there's also a little vintage milk topper, and then this little clock hand that came in the large. And then here's another piece of fabric that was also in there, and I got a couple of doilies, which I tore that one. That was my fault. And then also there's a couple pieces in here that were actually handmade by Amber. This is a little journaling spot that has a little closure, and then this is a little paper bag that you could make an art journal, or use it as a signature in a journal. A lot you can do with that. And then some book covers. These look like they're like the Reader's Digest condensed books, maybe. That's kind of what I'm guessing, because the ones that were really old used to have really cute covers. There were also these dust jackets, which is one of the things I'm not really sure how best to use those. So I'm gonna have to think about that. I don't really know. There's a couple other things. This is like a little mailer or something for a CD or something. Again, I'm not sure how vintage that is. I think it could maybe maneuver this into creating a journal out of it somehow. I'm going to have to wait and see. I have to think on that. And then this other large piece that looked like it was from a photo album. I don't know really about that either. So one of the things I appreciate about this is how everything is packaged. So they come in these little envelopes, and this has kind of all of these little clippings from magazines or books, just different kind of things. I love this one with all the vintage cars on it, and then some clocks and just different things. And these all are in this little brown paper bag. You can definitely use those as well in your journals. This is a really good way if you're just starting out. I think I said this the last time, to acquire kind of some vintage papers without having to go to a bunch of antique shops. And you get a good variety of vintage goods that you can use for interest. I really love these 2 prints. Those will definitely go in a journal that I'm going to create. So I really liked those. This next one, this is all kind of different book pages. So you have some really, really, really old ones. These are I forget what year these were from, but there's some, you can tell from the patina of the page that they're really old. Some of them are dictionary pages. I have even some that are in a foreign language. This is from an almanac from, I think, like 1925 or something like that. Really old, they just have great color to them. And then some of the ones that are like super, super dark are a little bit brittle. So you have to be kind of careful how you use that. These are some dictionary pages from a small dictionary. This one you can tell, not this section, but this section coming up, that it's just, the pages are starting to get just a little bit brittle because they're old. This one right here. And this one was really neat because there's a section in here, and it's like a little workbook or something. You could see where people had been answering the questions and stuff in it. It was really neat. And there's actually a section in there that was talking about the different beatitudes and stuff. So that was neat. And this one kind of actually looks like a like an old planner or something, because it had dates and stuff on it. So I can think of a couple different ways to use that. I'm excited about this one. There were some flags in there. Toothpick flags. I don't know. There was also a book spine, which you could definitely use for like a bookmark or something in a journal. There's also a little CD cover. Obviously, that's not a vintage piece because, but I actually use those to store my ephemera in my house. There's also a couple of vintage like coin wrappers, and then this was another, like a little handkerchief or cloth napkin or something with some really beautiful embroidery in it. So I think you could cut that down and make that into something. So this is another like bigger size now, but still all book text. And so there are some of these that are kind of like the flyleaf pages, but you can still use those. Those will actually work really great in journals, for like journaling spots for people, to be able to write and that kind of stuff if you are into making journals. And then there's some pages that are, those are wider pages. And then you have these kind of darker. This one you could tell is really old. It's pretty brittle, and like kind of, if you fold it, it kind of cracks. So you have to be a little bit careful how you would use that in a signature, but there's ways around that as well. And then you have these are almost looks like maybe a textbook or something, a reference book, I guess, not a textbook. And then some other really just kind of old vintagey pages. I really just like the variety of the different font sizes and the different patinas and just the different styles of all of these book texts, because even if you were to just make like a collage masterboard of all of these different ones, it would still be very interesting because of all of the different pages. So I may actually do that to make some kind of journaling cards or something. So stay tuned. Maybe I'll do a video on that. And then there's some more dictionary pages. You can tell these are from like a dictionary where the little notches were cut out. And then I have some that are kind of like, red on the edges. So I appreciate that they're like from different dictionaries. And this one actually was in a foreign language. I'm not even sure what language it was. This is another one of those ones that you could tell is just really old, or the book was not kept, in the best location, because it's starting to kind of crack and crumple a little bit. So I have to be careful how I use that one. But again, just more dictionary pages, and then maybe from like a novel or something. And then that one actually had some imagery in it as well. And then there are these old advertisements as well. These were fun. I can't remember what year those were. But I think I was trying to find the year on there, but I couldn't really locate it. And then these pages, they're pretty much blank, but again, these work really well in a journal to give, some writing space in a journal. And then some more book text, and then I liked this one because it had some old handwriting on it. I think it's like an image of someone else's handwriting, but it's still pretty cool. And the paper itself is still patinaed and old, so it's really very interesting. And then I'm going to pull out the last little section. These are all of the things that basically were too big to fit in those paper bags. So there are some, I have to even actually turn them sideways because they're really, really big. But these are some score pages, some like piano score. And these are so fun. I really like these. I love music paper. I love like hymnal pages as well. So I was really excited to have some more music pages. I do have some that a friend had gifted me as well, so I really like using music. I'm a musician, so I just like the music pages, but these are some other like poetry and just kind of random things that were loose in my little bag here. These are from some magazines of some sort. There's a Norman Rockwell print here. There's actually a few of those in here. I'm going to kind of turn this to the side and kind of go through. These are some New York Times ads, but those are like prints of ads. And then there's all these kind of abstract pieces, which I think you could totally like cut down and make into some interesting ephemera. I really like that, the green piece there as well, which would make a beautiful journal cover. There's another, I think that's a Norman Rockwell. And then just like some city ones, there's kind of some architecture. There's just a good variety. And one of the things I appreciate about Amber too is she has said, if there's something specific that you're looking for or a project that you're working on, you can shoot her a text message or, a message on Instagram or whatever, and she will try to add a note to your order for your subscription, to add some of those kind of more specialized things. Like if you're doing something that's very botanical or whatever, just let her know and they'll do their best to accommodate that, which is something I really appreciate for this style of ephemera pack. And like I said, this is the large one, and so there's a lot. I think this particular page I'm going to turn into a journal cover as well. I love this train one. I've mentioned that before. My dad worked on the railroad. He retired from the railroad, so I love all things trains. And then these are just some really old advertisements, I think. Just, they have some really neat ladies. That guy's mustache cracked me up. And just different prints and stuff, for magazines. This particular page here is about feathers, which is really interesting. But again, I think it's one of those things that you could take, and because the colors are so vibrant, you could take that apart and like just take out a section of it and make some really interesting ephemera. You wouldn't necessarily know that you're looking at feathers. This one was funny because it was talking about how to style your hat for the different seasons. That's what that like advertisement page was. And then I'm not sure what book this was from, what kind of book, but there's all these like pages. There's like bridges, and like the Hoover Dam was in there, and some like excavation in Egypt. These pages were just really, really neat, and they're huge. And the coloring on them is great as well. So I was excited to see those. So I'm just going to kind of finish flipping through these last few pieces here, and then I will link all the information for A House of Books down below in the description box. And like I said, you have, a variety of options for how you want to subscribe. And they are recently added some like a la carte items too, where you can, if you just want some book text or whatever, just a good way to kind of build your stash if you're just getting started trying to make junk journals or art journals or whatever. So anyway, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and until next time, bye.